In this video, we'll find the missing angle of a triangle using the rules that the angles of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. So we will calculate the missing angle of a triangle. We will start with this example. We want to find the measure of the angle B because here we have the angle A 60 degrees, the angle of C 30 degrees, and we have the unknown X and the angle of B. So how to find the value of this X? We will use that the sum of angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So we will use that. So the angle of A plus the angle of B plus the angle of C, because here this angle, and this angle equal 180 degrees. Now we have to substitute this, the angle of A equals 60 degrees, 60 degrees plus the measure of the angle of B, which is unknown here, X, plus the measure of the angle C is 30 degrees, equal this 180 degree. I really suggest for you to pause this video and you think what is the value of this X, or you can think about it here. 30 degrees plus 60 degrees, it will be 90 degrees. So what is the value to add them up, these to get 180 degrees? So this, it will be 90, because 90 plus 30 plus 60, it will be 180 degrees. Now let's solve it. So here X plus, I will add this with this, it will be 90 degrees equal 180 degrees, because here 180 degrees. So what is the value of this X? Of course it will be 90, but let's take this one to the other side, or you can subtract here 90 and here 90, but I prefer to take this one to the other side. So here X equal 180 degrees minus 90 degrees. So X, the value of this X, 90 degrees, because 180 degrees minus 90 degrees, it will be 90 degrees. So therefore the angle of this B, so the angle of this B, it will be 90 degrees. So the measure of the angle B is 90 degrees. Now let's move to the next example. Here we have to find the unknown value here, which is X. So in this example, we want to calculate the measure of the missing angle here, which is the measure of the angle of A. We use the rule that the sum of angles of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees, exactly the same as here. So let's write it again. So the angle of A plus the angle of B plus the angle of C equal 180 degrees. Now let's substitute this A with the value X. Let's substitute the measure of the angle B, which is 90 degree. Now let's substitute the measure of the angle C is 40 degrees, which is 180 degrees here. Again, the same thing. We have to add this angle, and the result, it should be 180 degrees. So 90 plus 40, or you can think it here 90, this and this angle, it should be 90. So of course here it should be 50, because 40 plus 50, it will be 90. 90 plus 90, it will be 180 degrees. So this is the easiest way to think about what is the value of this X. So now we have already solved it, but now let's solve it as algebraic way. So here, let's write here again X plus 90 plus 40, it will be 130 degrees equal 180 degrees. So to take this one to the other side, X equal 180 degrees minus 130 degrees. X equal, so 180 degrees minus 130 degrees, it will be 50 degrees. So the angle of A equal 50 degrees. Now let's move to the next example. Here we have the missing angle here, x. The same thing, the angle of A plus the angle of B plus the angle of C equal 180 degrees. Now let's substitute each value here. So the measure of the angle A is 50 degrees plus B, which is 100 degrees, plus the angle of C here, which is unknown, x, equal 180 degrees. Now let's add this with this, or let's write x first. X plus 50 plus 100, it will be 150 degrees, equal 180 degrees, because here 180 degrees. Now x equal, let's move to the other side, this 180 degrees, so it will be 180 minus 150. So therefore x equal 180 minus 150, which is 30 degree. So here the angle of C equal 30 degrees. Now let's move to the next example, which is example 4. Here we have two unknown. So how to find these two unknown? Very simple. The same, you have to write this, and then you have to compute the unknown value, which is x. Or you can think about it. Here's 60. And what is the value of these two angles to add up to 180 degree? I prefer for you to pause this video and think what is the value of x. Okay, let's write this one again. The angle of A, here small letter, not big letter like here, because here we have small letter, plus the angle of B plus the angle of C equal 180 degrees. Now let's substitute each measure of the angle A, B, and C. So A, here we have unknown, which is x, plus B, which is 60 degrees, plus C, which is x, equal 180 degrees. Now let's add these two x, because here we have x, 2x plus 60 degrees, because here 60, equal 180 degrees. Now 2x, and I will take it to the other side, it will be 180 degrees minus 60 degrees. So 2x equal 180 degrees minus 60 degrees, it will be 120 degrees. So I will continue here. So 2x equal 120 degrees. I will change the color. I will divide here by 2. I will divide by 2. So x equal this, it will go with this, 120 divided by 2, it will be 60 degrees. Therefore, we have x equal 60 degrees. So the measure of the angle A equal x equal this 60 degrees. And the same thing, the measure of the angle C equal the same x equal 60 degrees. Now let's check. If you add 60 plus this one at here 60 plus 60, it will be 180 degree. So it's correct. So if you add them, you will get 180 degrees. Now let's move to the next example, example 5. The same thing here. Here we have a right angle, which is here 90 degree. Here this mean 90 degrees. So now let's write the rules that the sum of angles of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. Here we have DEF. So the angle of D plus the angle of E plus the angle of F, it should be 180 degrees. Now let's substitute each value of this measure of this angle. The measure of the angle T is unknown, which is x. the measure of the angle E, which is 90 degrees, the measure of the angle F, which is x minus 20, equal 180 degrees. Now, let's solve this algebraic equation. Let's add this x with this x, so it will be 2x. This value with this value, 90 minus 20, it will be plus 70 degrees, equal 180 degrees. Now, let's take this one to the other side. So 2x equal 70, it will go there. So it will be 180 degrees minus 70 degrees. So 2x equal 180 minus 70, it will be 110 degrees. Now, let's divide by 2 and here by 2. So this go with this. So x equal 55 degrees. So we found the value of the angle of D, and of course we can find the measure of the angle F. So the measure of the angle D equal x, which is 55 degree. Now the measure of the angle F equal x minus 20. Now we have to substitute this x, which is 55, so it will be 55 minus 20. It will be 35. So the value of this x here, which is 55, and the value of this, which is the measure of the angle F, which is 35. Now let's check. Let's add them up. It has to be 180 degree. So 55 plus this angle, which is 90, plus this angle, which is 35, equal. So 90 plus 55 plus 35, it will be plus 90 as well. Therefore, here the value it will be 180 degrees. So our answer is correct. Okay, let's delete it. The last example here, we have this. We have to find the value of this x exactly the same way as we did here. The measure of the angle G plus the measure of the angle H, the measure of the angle I, equal should be 180 degrees. Now, the measure of the angle G is the unknown x. For H, here we have to write 3x. For I, we have to write plus 2x. It should be 180 degrees. Now let's add the unknown x, which is x plus 3x plus 2x, which is 6x equal 180 degrees. Now let's divide this by 6 and divide this one by 6 to take rid of this x. So here this one it will go. So here x equal 180 divided by 6, which is 30 degree. So the measure of the angle G equal x, which is 30. The measure of the angle H, which is 3x, and we know x equal 30, so it will be 3 multiplied by 30. It will be 90 degree. The measure of the angle I equal 2x, so it will be 2 multiplied by 30, which is 60 degree. So that's it. We found this. So the measure of the angle G, which is 30 degree, and the measure of the angle H, which is 90 degrees, and the measure of the angle I, which is 60 degrees. Now let's add them up. So 30 plus 60, which is 90, plus 90 equal 180 degrees. So our answer is correct. So that's it. I hope this video illustrates how to find the missing angle of a triangle. That's it. See you in the next video.